Listen closely. Something rare is awakening today. Something destined. Something the universe has been preparing for months. On January 3rd, 2026, the first full moon of the year rises as a supermoon in Cancer, and this is not just another lunar event. This is the Wolf Supermoon, the emotional security portal, a cosmic reset so powerful that it will rewrite the foundation of your life. This is a message for those who feel the pull, for those who sense the shift, for those whose souls recognize that today marks a turning point they never saw coming. Before we go deeper into this awakening, leave a like and subscribe and comment. I am ready to receive my emotional breakthrough, because what unfolds in this message is not entertainment. It is revelation. It is alignment. It is the cosmic invitation you have been waiting for. Take a breath. Feel the weight in your chest. Feel the electricity in the air around you. You are not imagining this. The Wolf Supermoon in Cancer is opening an emotional security portal, a gateway between who you were and who you are becoming. And as this moon reaches its peak at 5003 AM Eastern Time, something inside you shifts permanently. The universe is not whispering today, it is intervening. It is pulling you toward the life your soul has been calling in for years. The Wolf Supermoon gets its name from the ancient howls that echoed through winter nights, the sound of survival, of community, of primal emotional truth rising from the depths. And today, that same primal truth rises within you. Cancer is the sign of home, family, emotional safety, and the tender places where we build our sense of belonging. When the moon, Cancer's ruling planet, returns to its home sign as a supermoon, it amplifies everything you feel, everything you need, everything you have been afraid to admit your heart has been longing for. A supermoon occurs when the full moon reaches its closest point to Earth, appearing larger, brighter, more magnetic. On January 3rd, the Wolf Supermoon sits just 225,130 miles from Earth, glowing with an intensity that makes it impossible to ignore. This is not subtle cosmic energy, this is undeniable. This is the universe turning up the volume on your emotional frequency so you can finally hear what your soul has been trying to tell you. Cancer governs the emotional tides, the inner world, the quiet chambers of the heart where safety is built or broken. And when the full moon lands here, it brings culmination. It brings revelation. It brings the emotional truth you have been avoiding, suppressing, or simply not ready to face until now. This is the moment where buried feelings rise to the surface, where hidden needs become impossible to ignore, where the illusion of security crumbles so real security can finally be built. You may have felt this building for weeks, a strange restlessness, an emotional intensity you could not explain, dreams that felt too real, memories surfacing without warning, a longing for something you cannot name. This was not random. This was the Wolf Supermoon approaching, stirring the waters of your subconscious, preparing you for the emotional breakthrough that arrives today. The universe does not send portals like this without purpose. The Wolf Supermoon in Cancer is here to show you where you have been living in false security, where you have been settling for comfort instead of true emotional alignment, where you have been protecting yourself so fiercely that you have locked out the very things your soul needs to thrive. This moon does not ask permission. It exposes, it reveals. It forces you to confront the truth of what makes you feel safe and what has been silently draining your emotional foundation. And here is what most people will not tell you. 3 zodiac signs stand at the center of this portal. 3 signs are positioned to experience a complete emotional transformation, a restructuring of their sense of security, a revelation so profound that by the end of this lunar cycle, they will not recognize the version of themselves they left behind. If you are one of these signs, today changes everything. Cancer, this is your moon. The Wolf Supermoon rises in your first house of identity, shining a spotlight directly on who you are becoming. You have reached the halfway point since your last birthday, and the universe is asking you a question you can no longer avoid. Who are you when no one is watching? What version of yourself have you been performing, and what version have you been hiding? This full moon strips away the mask. It shows you the raw, unfiltered truth of your identity, and it demands that you step into alignment with that truth. For months you've been shape-shifting, adjusting, accommodating, making yourself smaller or safer or more acceptable. The Wolf Supermoon says no more. You are being called to claim your emotional authority, to stand in the fullness of who you are, without apology, without explanation, without shrinking to make others comfortable. This is your moment to release the old identity, the one built on other people's expectations, the one designed to keep the peace rather than honor your soul. The version of you emerging today is bolder, more honest, more aligned with your deepest emotional truth. You may feel exposed, you may feel vulnerable, you may feel like every emotion you have ever suppressed is rising at once. Let it. This is not a breakdown. This is an awakening. The Wolf Supermoon is clearing the debris, dissolving the walls, making space for a version of you that does not need to hide. By the time this moon cycle completes, you will have shed an entire layer of identity, and what remains will be stronger, clearer, and undeniably yours. Capricorn, the Wolf Supermoon activates your 7th house of relationships, partnerships, and soul connections. This is not a gentle nudge. This is a cosmic reckoning. The universe is revealing the truth of who belongs in your life and who has been draining your emotional foundation. You have been carrying relationships that no longer serve you, tolerating dynamics that diminish you, staying loyal to connections that do not reciprocate the energy you give. The Wolf Supermoon exposes all of it. Over the past 6 months, since the new moon in Cancer, you have been building toward this moment. Patterns have been revealing themselves. Truths have been surfacing. And today, the culmination arrives. You may receive clarity about a partnership that has been confusing you. You may feel the urge to walk away from a connection that once felt essential. You may realize that the person you have been waiting on does not align with the future you are building. This is not loss. This is liberation. The Wolf Supermoon is asking you to honor your emotional needs in relationships, to stop sacrificing your security for someone else's comfort, to demand reciprocity, respect, and genuine emotional investment. If a relationship cannot meet you at this level, it cannot travel with you into your next chapter. You are shedding partnerships rooted in obligation, fear, or outdated versions of yourself. What remains will be connections built on mutual growth, emotional honesty, and aligned intention. This is the relationship reset you did not know you needed. Aries, the Wolf Supermoon lands in your 4th house of home, family, roots, and emotional foundation. This is the deepest part of your chart, the place where your sense of safety is built or broken. And today, the universe is asking you to examine the foundation you have been standing on. Is it solid? Is it yours? Or have you been building your life on someone else's blueprint, living in emotional patterns inherited from your past, staying loyal to a version of home that no longer fits who you are becoming? The 4th house governs not just your physical home, but your internal sense of belonging. It is the emotional soil from which everything in your life grows. And the Wolf Supermoon is here to shake that soil, to reveal what has been buried, to show you where your foundation has cracks. You may feel sudden emotional waves tied to family dynamics, childhood memories, or unresolved wounds from your past. This is not punishment. This is healing. The universe is giving you permission to rebuild your foundation on your own terms, to release family patterns that no longer serve you, to redefine what home means, to create emotional safety that is not dependent on external validation or approval from others. This is your moment to plant roots in soil that actually nourishes you, to build a life that feels like home in your bones, not just in your circumstances. By the end of this lunar cycle, you will have reclaimed your emotional authority, and the foundation you build now will support every chapter that follows. But this portal is not just for these 3 signs. Every sign feels the Wolf Supermoon, and every sign is being asked the same fundamental question. What makes you feel safe? And is that safety real? Or is it a cage you have mistaken for shelter? The Wolf Supermoon in Cancer amplifies emotional sensitivity across the collective. You may notice yourself feeling more than usual, crying without clear reason, longing for connection, craving solitude, feeling nostalgic for a past you cannot return to or a future you have not yet touched. These are not symptoms of weakness. These are signs of emotional awakening. The portal is thinning the veil between your conscious mind and your subconscious truth, allowing feelings you have suppressed to finally surface. Cancer energy asks you to nurture yourself the way you nurture others. It asks you to build emotional safety from the inside out rather than seeking it externally. It asks you to honor your needs without apology, to protect your peace without guilt, to create boundaries that preserve your emotional well-being. The Wolf Supermoon shines light on where you have been overgiving, overextending, over-sacrificing. It shows you where your emotional reserves have been drained, and it demands that you replenish them. You may feel called to rest, to withdraw, to spend time alone, to cancel plans that do not serve your emotional state, to say no without explanation. This is not selfishness, this is self-preservation. The universe is teaching you that your emotional security is not something you find in another person, in a job, in a circumstance. It is something you build within yourself, and it requires protection, attention, and fierce commitment. Today, as the Wolf Supermoon reaches its peak, you may experience sudden emotional downloads, intuitive flashes, or moments of clarity that rewrite your understanding of what you need. Pay attention to what surfaces. Pay attention to the feelings you have been avoiding. Pay attention to the relationships, environments, or patterns that make you feel unsafe. The moon is showing you the truth. Your job is to listen. Jupiter in Cancer, still retrograde but preparing to go direct on March 11th, sits near the Wolf Supermoon, amplifying its emotional power. Jupiter expands everything it touches, and in Cancer, it expands your need for emotional security, your desire for deeper connection, your longing for a life that feels like home. This is not a time for surface-level fixes. This is a time for foundational transformation. Jupiter asks, what would your life look like if you felt truly safe? What would change if you trusted your emotional instincts? What would you build if you stopped waiting for permission? The Wolf Supermoon is also forming a powerful opposition to the Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Mars, all moving through Capricorn. This creates a tension between your emotional needs and your external ambitions, between what your heart wants and what your responsibilities demand, between the soft, vulnerable parts of you and the structured, disciplined facade you present to the world. The universe is asking you to integrate both, to honor your emotional truth without abandoning your goals, to build a life that serves both your inner world and your outer success. Mars in Capricorn, moving direct and strong, gives you the energy to take action on what the Wolf Supermoon reveals. This is not passive emotional processing. This is active emotional transformation. If the moon shows you a relationship that drains you, Mars gives you the courage to walk away. If the moon reveals a living situation that no longer fits, Mars gives you the drive to change it. If the moon exposes a pattern that keeps you small, Mars gives you the strength to break it. The portal is open. The energy is available. The only question is whether you will step through. Saturn lingers in the final degrees of Pisces, preparing to enter Aries on February 13th. This is the closing chapter of a 3-year cycle, the final lessons of emotional maturity, spiritual boundaries, and the integration of your inner world with your outer reality. The Wolf Supermoon in Cancer is the emotional culmination of everything Saturn in Pisces has been teaching you. It is the moment where you prove to yourself that you have learned the lessons, that you have grown beyond the emotional patterns that once controlled you, that you are ready for the next chapter. Uranus in Taurus, still retrograde but preparing to station direct on February 4th, adds an element of surprise to this portal. Uranus governs sudden shifts, unexpected revelations, and the lightning bolt moments that change everything in an instant. You may receive news that alters your emotional landscape. You may experience a breakthrough that feels like it came out of nowhere. You may feel guided to make a decision that shocks even you. This is Uranus breaking you free from stagnation, from comfort zones that have become prisons, from emotional patterns that have kept you stuck. Neptune in Pisces, in its final months before entering Aries on January 26th, dissolves the illusions you have been holding about your emotional security. It shows you where you have been living in fantasy, where you have been avoiding reality, where you have been hoping something will change without taking action. The Wolf Supermoon brings clarity through dissolution. It washes away the fog. It reveals what is real and what was always just a story you told yourself to feel safe. Chiron in Aries, having just stationed direct on January 2nd, brings deep emotional wounds to the surface for healing. Chiron is the wounded healer, the part of you that carries pain from past experiences, from childhood, from relationships that taught you love was conditional or safety was fragile. The Wolf Supermoon activates Chiron, asking you to tend to the wounds you have been ignoring, to offer yourself the compassion you have been withholding, to heal the parts of you that still believe you are not worthy of emotional security. Over the next 72 hours, synchronicities will multiply. You will see signs, symbols, repeating numbers, messages that feel too aligned to be coincidence. The universe speaks loudest during full moons, and the Wolf Supermoon in Cancer is no exception. Pay attention to dreams. Pay attention to what people say to you. Pay attention to the songs that play, the memories that surface, the emotional waves that move through you. Everything is information. Everything is guidance. Everything is the universe showing you the path forward. You may feel called to have difficult conversations, to express emotions you have been suppressing, to ask for what you need, to set boundaries you have been avoiding. The Wolf Supermoon gives you the emotional courage to speak your truth, even when your voice shakes, even when the response is uncertain, even when it feels safer to stay silent. Your emotional honesty is your power. Your vulnerability is your strength. Your willingness to claim your needs is the key that unlocks the portal. This is also a time for releasing what no longer serves your emotional security. Write down what you are ready to let go of. Burn it, bury it, release it to water. The Wolf Supermoon is a portal of emotional purification, and the more you consciously release, the more space you create for what is aligned to enter. Release the relationships that drain you. Release the living situations that make you feel unsafe. Release the patterns that keep you small. Release the identity that was built on fear instead of truth. As the Wolf Supermoon rises, you may feel a pull toward solitude, toward reflection, toward the quiet inner work that no one else can see. Honor that pull. This is not the time for performative productivity or social obligations. This is the time to sit with yourself, to listen to your heart, to tend to your emotional landscape with the same care you would give to a garden. Water the parts of yourself that have been neglected. Pull the weeds of resentment, guilt, and fear. Plant seeds of intention for the emotional security you want to build. The Wolf Supermoon also brings a question about home. What does home mean to you? Is it a place? Is it a person? Is it a feeling? And wherever you are right now, do you feel at home? If the answer is no, the universe is asking you to create it, to build it, to claim it. Home is not something you find. It is something you become. It is the emotional foundation you carry within you, the sense of safety that no circumstance can shake, the inner knowing that you belong to yourself first and foremost. For some, this moon will bring family revelations. Truths will surface about your lineage, your ancestry, your roots. You may discover patterns that have been passed down through generations, emotional wounds that were never yours to carry, beliefs about safety and security that you inherited without question. The Wolf Supermoon gives you permission to break those patterns, to heal those wounds, to choose a different path. You are not bound by your past. You are empowered by your choice to create a different future. For others, this moon will bring a turning point in living situations. You may decide to move, to renovate, to reclaim your space, to create a home that actually reflects who you are rather than who you were expected to be. Your environment affects your emotional state, and the Wolf Supermoon is asking you to build a sanctuary, a space that nourishes you, protects you, and allows you to be fully yourself. The emotional intensity of this portal may feel overwhelming at times. You may cry without understanding why. You may feel anger rise from depths you did not know existed. You may experience grief for versions of yourself you are leaving behind. Feel it all. Do not suppress. Do not numb. Do not distract. The emotions are not the enemy. They are the messengers. They are showing you what needs attention, what needs healing, what needs release. By the time the Wolf Supermoon begins to wane, you will feel different, not slightly different, fundamentally transformed. The emotional foundation beneath you will have shifted, and the version of you standing on that new foundation will be more authentic, more aligned, more emotionally sovereign. You will know what you need. You will honor what you feel. You will protect what matters. And you will no longer apologize for claiming the emotional security your soul requires. This is not the end of the journey. This is the beginning. The Wolf Supermoon in Cancer opens a portal that stays active for the next 2 weeks, culminating at the new moon on January 18th. Use this time wisely. Use this time intentionally. Use this time to rebuild your emotional foundation with clarity, courage, and unshakable self-compassion. You are not imagining the significance of this moment. You are not exaggerating the shift. The universe has aligned the Wolf Supermoon, Jupiter in Cancer, Mars in Capricorn, and a sky full of planetary support to give you exactly what you need to transform your emotional reality. The portal is open. The energy is available. The only question is whether you will step through. If this message resonated with your soul, leave a like and subscribe and comment. I am ready to build my emotional foundation to anchor this energy into your timeline. The Wolf Supermoon portal has opened. January 3rd is your turning point, and the emotional security you build now will support every chapter of your life that follows. You are seen, you are supported, and your transformation has already begun.